Друзья, привет! Я продолжаю цикл передач об австрийских мужчинах, об отношениях, о свиданиях и все, что они об этом думают. Сегодня в программе. Флавио, who would be responsible for the budget in the family, if you would have one?
I think it should be kind of...
Flavio, what do you know about Slavic women?
So, I dated one.
Flavio, what is woman for you?
So, a person that I would be willing to, well, not that I would be willing, that I would just simply look up to, and that would be an absolutely independent person with whom I can partner, and we can form an awesome team and we can rely on each other. But this is not the necessary thing, you know. You don't want to be dependent. You want to be able to rely but not depend. This is a bit of a tender balance, let's say. In the end, I want a partner for me, maybe not even just a woman, but I would like that this person has their own life and their own things, their own interests, their own things that I can also look up to, and you want to be with an interesting person, not just like a servant or whatever, as it is.
And can you imagine your life without him?
Well, it would be quite sad, actually. I mean, I can and I have lived alone for some time, but was this the best time and my favorite time of life? No, not really.
So whole life?
No, I think I think relationships are necessary, and I think this is really like human nature, and you really need this.
What would you change in a woman?
Well, if we go to that part, I think we are already making a mistake. If you are going to change something about the person you got together with, if this is the case, then you're already failing. I think it's about acceptance and just living with each other's flaws and qualities. And I think one should keep in mind that if you try to change a person, first, I don't think people change, and second, you are going to be modifying the personality that you originally got interested in. So I think changing is not the answer.
What is the most important thing in a woman for you?
This is probably my personal taste, but humor. I don't take life very seriously.
Is the figure of the woman very important for you, and the appearance in common?
I would say yes, but because of what's underlying this. Of course, there are things you cannot change about yourself, right? The way your basic looks, you cannot change. The way your face is, basically, you were born with this. You can do plastic surgery, but yeah, I think you know what I mean.
Yeah.
In that sense, I don't care so much, but I am a very sporty person, for instance, and I am always on the move. I'm quite active, and for me, a cared for figure and a well-kept body tells me that this is also the case for the other person.
Flavio, who would be responsible for the budget in the family?
I think this would be either a shared task or I don't know. I mean, I've been doing this myself for quite a while now, so I can take care of it. But I think in a relationship, the way I've been raised, everybody's kind of responsible for their own money. And of course, if needed, you should be free to ask your partner, yeah, sure, look, I am not doing so well now. Could you help me with this? But I think like a 50-50 repartition of tasks would be the ideal, if possible.
And if your woman, she would say, no, I don't want to work, I just want to make my hobbies, I will stay at home. Will it be possible for you to finance the whole family?
Yeah, I think so. Would I want that? No. I could do that, but I don't think I would want to. It would go very much against the, yeah, sure, but how is this interest? How are you an interesting partner? I want you to be driven and to have goals. I don't know. Maybe your goal is to be a stay-at-home mom or a housewife, but I don't know. That's already kind of not interesting to me.
What is the average age of marriage in Portugal?
Actually, I have seen this recently, and it's something like close to 30 nowadays.
So it's European average of age.
Yeah, very much the European average. Yeah.
Flavio, what do you know about Slavic women?
So I dated one for about 3 years. I am kind of also quite a fan of Slavic culture. I do think that in most cases, again, this is not the case I experienced, that there is more of a reliance on traditional gender roles for Slavic women. But again, times are changing and I don't necessarily believe this is the case anymore. In my case, it was definitely not like that. We were both independent scientists. She was also doing her PhD, again, also in biotechnology. So we were very much two independent people that just came together and worked.
Can you tell me 3 differences between Slavic and European women?
Because of how Slavic people also are for me, there is a slower warming up period to you. Like even when you get on a relationship, I think there's a slower warming up period so that you can trust the person and you can actually talk to the person. But then it feels like it also gets much more intense than with Austrians.
What do you mean?
I do think that Central European people, I'm Portuguese, so I've had some experience in this. I do think that Central European people are a bit more closed with their feelings and whatever, and that in that sense Slavic women, or at least the one I dated, was much more open.
Could you tell me 5 components of happy relationship?
So 1, openness, for sure. You really have to communicate. 2, tolerance. You will make mistakes. 3, I think financial independence. This is, I believe, a source of a lot of fighting. 4 is finding a common ground that you can do stuff together in, that you can actually work in your things as a team, some activity that you both like, and I think 5 is exactly the opposite. Find things that you can do by yourself and that the other person does by themselves, and that this is your own space and your own thing. This keeps you an individual person and not this relationship blob, as I like to call you, and like your relationship and people just call the both of you by one name. I think this is terrible.
What does mean sex for you?
Kind of a human need, but it also should be fun. And I guess if you are in a relationship, in a loving one, this can be the most fulfilling thing ever. Actually, this is something that I would seek after, because personal experience, it's fun if you hook up with the person in your first date or whatever, or after 2, but the continuation and the getting to know your partner makes it all so much better.
What about sex on the first date? Do you have experience in it?
Yeah, it's happened. I don't think that this common rule of like women should hold on until like the 5th or 1st or 6th or whatever dates until they give it up. I think this is not a business, this is not a transaction, this is not an exchange of something. I think if women want it and if they find the person they're with attractive, yeah, just do what you want. Actually, it's about your happiness as well.
After one night stand, did you have relationship afterwards or not?
Yeah, I have had I think both things. I have had just dates that were one date and we had sex and that's it. And then, for instance, one of my ex-girlfriends where this was what happened, and then we just stayed together for 3 years. So I think both can happen. It really depends on how well you get along with each other.
Do you believe in a relationship without cheating?
I think ideally yes, but maybe not in the usual way. I think cheating is a symptom that something is wrong, and if you get to that point, I think you might as well talk to your partner and figure out something. And if you are attracted by other person, just like talk to your partner. If they're not okay with it, you break up and that's it. I don't think there is a reason for cheating. Instead, in fact, I think the most important thing in a relationship for me is communication. And if there is really honest communication and if you are really honest about your feelings, then cheating will not be a thing.
So Flavia, how it was for you? What can you leave as feedback for me?
Yeah, so I think this was a pretty well structured interview. A structured question order, so they were connected together and they flowed very well towards each other, and it progressed with time, and I really like this. It leaves you wondering, yeah, I mean, this is not random at all, and she really put some effort into it. I also don't get asked these things quite often, and if it makes me a bit awkward, it's also quite unusual, but I like unusual, so that's pretty cool.
Thank you very much. It was nice to speak to you. Okay. Wie hast du dich jetzt dabei gefühlt bei Fragen und so bei Interview? Kannst du mir kurz das Feedback geben?
Ich bekam Essen. Das war
Ich auch.
Es war cool. Eine coole Frau, die ihre eigene Meinung hat, ihre eigene. Die Frage nochmal stellen, wir müssen so tun, als ob das nie passiert wäre und du die Antwort auch noch nie gehört hast.
Okay,
und
gut.
Ich muss so tun, als ob ich die Antwort noch weiß.
Aber,
Du musst diese Frage jetzt nicht unbedingt machen.
sehr
Aber,
überraschend. Ja.
Oh, mit dieser Frage hätte ich überhaupt nicht gerechnet.
Echt?
Wollen wir uns auch noch einmal machen. Also.